Ladies and gents, you're welcome or welcome back to Selfscape. Selfscape is a safe place for me to share my thoughts and just share the conversations I have with myself in private. So this is where I make them public. If this is your first time listening, you're absolutely welcome. I'm very thrilled to have you join the fam. And I'm excited. I'm actually very excited. I'm thankful that you find my podcast worthy enough to bless your ears or to be in your I don't know. Just I'm just glad that you're here. Honestly, I was contemplating recording and publishing this podcast today because I was like, I know that it's Wednesday, but really, do I really need to publish today? But then at the same time, I figured, why am I holding on to the episode? Just publish. My girl, just publish. So here we are, today, Wednesday. I hope that you've had a good day. I hope that you had a very chill week so far. Everything has been going well. On the other hand, I'm in a very good mood. I'm actually very excited, very pleased, very thrilled. I'm stressed, yes, but I'm choosing to focus on the positives this week and not the negatives, mostly because I have a lot of things happening this month. So this month is my birth month. I turned 27 this month. Well, technically, somebody said that I am already in my 27th year and it is about to end. So technically, I don't turn 27. I'm stepping into my 28th year. But I don't care. I mean, I've been counting it like this. I'll keep counting it like this. I turned 27 in my own head. That's it. And it's actually very exciting. Mostly because I haven't been excited about my birthday in a while. I just would always say, oh yeah, my birthday is here. Oh great, like let's just pass, let me move on my life. But this year I've just been really, I've been psyched and just hyped up and just wanting to celebrate and to really introspect and to say, oh Hadassah, you're doing a great job, a fantastic job, you deserve to clap for yourself or applaud yourself a little bit. Not like I'm trying to toot my horn or anything like that, but just to say, you go girl, So that's the kind of mood I've been in. And I'm also attending a couple of events this month. So everything's just pretty excited all around. Have like a creators event to attend this weekend. I have a church program right at the end of the month. I think I also have another event. I can't remember what or which, but yes, I'm really thrilled. I'm pleased about all of those things. I'm just really excited. I feel like I would say excited a couple of times in this episode. Please just bear with me because that's exactly how I feel. And I've been thinking a lot and just been thinking about a couple of things. So I will try as much as possible to break them down and share them. Let's start with the first thing, which is obviously my NYC escapades. Like, I have to talk about it. Chronicles of National Youth Service. I feel like at this point, I need to have an episode dedicated to it. I wish I could create like a playlist or something and just name it Chronicles of National Youth Service, because in fact, you know what, I feel like naming an episode that, because there's always something. Since I started this National Youth Service, there has never been a dull moment. There's just always something happening, and every time I'm like, I don't get it. Like, did the government decide that, oh, you decide to wait 2 years to do this thing, Abby? We're going to ensure that you must always have something to talk about every week. Why? Every week there's always something happening. If you listen to all the episodes, I have talked about my youth service every episode, and I have always had something to talk about. Well, except for I think 2 episodes ago, I didn't really have much. Yeah, except for that's the only exemption. So there's always something. Yesterday I went for CDS and I went early. Like, I try as much as possible now to go very early because I want to leave there on time. When I'm getting there, 7:11, 7:12. I think yesterday I got there maybe before 7:11. I can't really remember because I didn't really look at the time, but I got there very early and I was number 89. Whoa, hallelujah, praise God. You would think that as number 89, that would mean that when it starts, let me peg it at, we usually start 9 a.m. So in an hour's time, I should be done and I should be out of there. I thought so too. Ladies and gents, please tell me why I was on that line for 2 hours straight and they were still on number 30. And the line wasn't moving and was moving at the same time. So you would literally see people go up, turn print and leave. But in the line, we were still at number 30. And I just kept wondering to myself, why is the line not moving? And people started to get agitated because we'd literally been there 2 hours plus standing under the hot sun. There is no shade at the local government, so we usually stand under the hot sun. There, the seats are not enough, so you can't. Not everybody gets the seats. And I was on that queue. I was sweating. I was really hot. I was uncomfortable. My waist was aching because I was standing. I had been standing for such a long time. People got upset. People got pretty upset and they broke the line. Basically, disorganized the entire system. So the officials then had to get involved and had to pacify everybody. Apparently, the ESCOs were letting people in. You took our numbers. You gave us number forms for some form of orderliness, and so that people would not jump the line, and people that had gotten there very early would be able to do their stuff and go home. So tell me why somebody that is your friend is coming around past 10 and you let them get to the front of the line just because they're your friend. And then me that I have been there since 7, I'm still stuck on the line waiting for them to get to number 89. And I'm still hearing that, oh, we're just at number 30. They were taking in people that didn't have numbers, people that were their friends, and they didn't even follow the number thing that they did. They didn't follow the arrangement. And so when people got upset and everybody started to talk about it, the officials then pacified everyone, and then she told us to go back on the line and follow the line. So this time around, then they decided to follow the line, and in 30 minutes I was out of there. So you mean to tell me that I spent close to 2 hours for something I could have done in literally 30 minutes? God, I'm not angry. I'm just perplexed at the level of, I think that corruption has eaten deep to the very, very, it has trickled down to the smallest. I don't know how to explain. Like, it has trickled down to even the tiniest of places. You are in a position of power, and you are supposedly you are in a position of power, and you're supposed to uphold honesty and truthfulness. But then, because you're in a position of power, you misuse your power, and you're not even thinking straight, and you're misusing your power so much so that every other person is suffering as a consequence of your action. And it doesn't make sense to me, because why is corruption eating deep into the nitty-gritty or the integral parts of this nation? A lot of the things that we accept, a lot of things that we condone, a lot of the things that we let fly or say, oh, this is normal Nigerian, is street OT. It is actually wrong OT. It's not street OT. It is wrong morally. It is not acceptable in a lot of societies. The things where you have to bribe somebody to be able to get your passport done, and somebody else will not be able to get their passport done because they don't want to bribe officials. That thing is morally wrong. It speaks to the moral decadence in this country, and we're just seeing it as, oh, it's normal now. It's Nigeria. You guys bribe some people. You guys know people so that you'll be able to get things done. If you don't know anybody, you know if you get, like, that thing is not right. We have normalized it, yes, but it doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it acceptable. It doesn't make it proper. It doesn't make it good. Just because everybody does it doesn't mean that it's good. Wait on the line. You don't have to cut a line. You don't have to, oh, I know the person, so then let me cut the line. No, actually, really think about it. Do you think, if you think that it's actually okay, and if you think that I'm just overreacting or I am over exaggerating, that's okay, that's fine. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, but it doesn't mean that your opinion is the truth. I'm just saying, because I don't think it's proper. I don't think it's right. And I think that we need to find a way to start to address it. We need to find a way to address it, because even Christians are caught lacking sometimes. Oh, like my friend now. She's my friend now. She's my friend. Oh, let me just cut corners. I can pass through the back door because I have a friend. I mean, I'm not saying that if some relationships don't give you opportunities or provide some platforms for you or networks, all those things. No, I'm talking about the things where there are rules and you're literally breaking a rule just because you want to get your way. Those are the things I'm talking about. Those are the things I'm addressing. And I'm not saying that a lot of those things are our fault. I'm saying that it is as a result of a decaying society. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that because some parts and pieces of this country, they're not functioning as they should, that's why there is that decay that has now trickled down into every other person's lives. That's why somebody would not be able to get their passport on time, even though they are supposed to, except they pay money for it. That's why an official would not attend to you, because you don't know anybody. For example, let me just paint this scenario. Maybe you walk into the immigration office and then somebody else You and somebody walk into the immigration office at the same time. You are maybe there to get your passport done. I don't know why I keep using passports, to be very honest, but that's like the most common example I can think of right now. And just because that person knows, maybe even knows the person at the counter, they get a pass, or they get an up, right? They have an advantage, and so they are able to get theirs done that day. Meanwhile, you following the books and everything, because you don't know anybody or because you can't grease some palms, you will have to come back. I don't think it's proper. I hope this thing I'm saying, I'm actually really articulating as well, because I don't want to say things that are erroneous, and I don't want to say things that are untrue. But I want to say things that I've experienced, or that I've seen, or that people around me have experienced, and it is in something that everybody relates with. I think that there is something wrong with our morality in this country. I think that we have a problem with the way we measure morals and values. I think that yardstick is broken, and I think it needs to be changed, fixed, overhauled, anything, but it just needs to be repaired. Because the way we measure morals, no, I don't agree with it. It just doesn't make any sense to me that we have to cut corners. We're literally resorting to cutting corners because the right way is a no-go area. It will not work. It will not pan out exactly how we want it to pan out. I don't think that's fair on us. I don't think that's fair on our society. So remember, I said I'm not necessarily blaming everybody. I'm just saying that because of a system that is failing, a lot of us have had to resort to things that we don't have any business resorting to in the first place, or having to rely on, I hope I know somebody in the passport office, I hope I know somebody in immigration, I hope I know somebody in the local government so I'll be able to get in. When if the system was actually working, if the system was not decaying, you wouldn't need to do that. You wouldn't need to know somebody. You would just need to get in. I hope it makes sense anyway. But that's just, by the way, that's how I feel about that entire event, and I was just really irritated. That's by the way. Now let's talk about this other thing that I think needs to be addressed. And let me calm down. So is this thing where when I don't even know how to present the case. I feel like it needs its own episode. I don't know how to present it in such a way that it doesn't take up much of the recording time, but at the same time, I'm able to share my thoughts and my opinions about it, because I've literally thought about this thing for 3 weeks now. 3 weeks I've been thinking about it almost every day. This thing where people are doing, let me use weddings, because that's exactly the scenario that I'm talking about. I'm getting married. I have my preferences. I make a decision to buy a dress that I like, that is obviously modest and decently covered and everything. I make a decision to do my hair a certain way. I make a decision to wear a certain color of shoe, or maybe a certain color of jewelry or something. Everything about my wedding is my wedding, and I make a decision for myself. And then you are on the internet and you're upset. So this is where I'm going. I did not understand when Vicky James was getting married. I was trying to understand why people were upset. I didn't see a reason for them to be upset, because she literally was celebrating a one-time event in her life. I pray for her, that's a one-time thing, and then her marriage is blessed and lasts. I didn't see the reason why people were getting upset. When Temilade Salami was getting married, people were also upset that she wore a pantsuit for her court wedding. I didn't understand it. Like, why are you angry? I don't marry now. Did our husband complain? Like, what exactly is the issue? And then when Moses Bliss was getting married, the conversation then turned from, Vicky James is doing too much, to Moses Bliss's wife, Marie, is not doing enough. See, people are problematic. There has to be something wrong with the way society is wired right now. Because why are you upset? First, you're upset that in your books, somebody is supposedly doing too much for her wedding that she can afford, that she worked so hard to pay for. And then another person is not doing enough for her own wedding it doesn't make sense now. It isn't all witchcraft. And then people were then comparing the two. Okay, we can see the difference between a man that loves his wife. How do you know? Are you in their marriage? Are you living with them? Are you somehow perhaps related to Moses Bliss, or maybe related to Femi? That you know that Femi doesn't love Vicky James and Moses Bliss loves Marie more. Moses Bliss is more expressive. People have different personalities. He's an expressive person. And so he's expressive with his feelings and his emotions. Femi doesn't seem like he's expressive, or he's an outgoing person, or he talks that much. His wife seems more like the outgoing type. And so she expressed how she felt more. So how does that make them not suited for one another? How does that, determine how long and how well their marriage is going to work or last? Who made us the judge and jury of people's marriages and people's decisions, especially when those decisions are actually modest, or those decisions are actually responsible decisions, sensible, and have value? When I say value, I mean like they're not morally declining decisions. Do you get? Because there's some decisions you're like, oh no, they just lack morals. But those decisions actually have morals. So why are you judging them so? Why are you so? I saw comments and I couldn't read the comment section because people sounded so bitter. It was like people had been waiting for Vicky James to get married so they could bash her. It was as if she stole their bread, as if she stole their money or something. And the one that bust my head the most was when one girl then posted a video of Vicky James. And I think she thought she is. I think she thought that people would actually support her. But what she got was a backlash. And I was very thankful that there was that form of backlash, because it didn't make sense at that point. It just sounded like you're witch hunting. Like you're just trying to hate on somebody and just make sure that you find faults in her. And this person, you don't know her. This person doesn't know you, has never met you. You have never met her. But all of a sudden, because you watch her on the internet, you kind of assume a sense of familiarity, or you assume a self-importance, so to speak. You suddenly feel like you know too much, or you matter, or you're a priority, or you're some sort of important person in this person's life, and you can make decisions for them, and you can speak on them or speak about them. And then they resort to this defense after you posted it on the internet, so everybody has an opinion, which is true. No lies, they posted it on the internet, so yes, it's open to public debate and you have your opinion, but it doesn't mean that your opinion has to be disgusting. If your opinion is so decaying, I think you need to check yourself. If every time you comment on somebody's stuff, somebody posts something about their wedding, and I see it a lot with weddings, and these 3 people I highlighted, it's not just them, I've seen it with other couples too. So if every time somebody posts something good happened to them, and the only thing you can think of is to find fault or to say something nasty about them, it speaks a lot about your heart and where you are as a person. You need to have a heart check. You need to check your faith work, because it just means that there's a lot of work that needs to be done. You're not working in love. See, and I'm not even hating or trying to, be judgmental or anything. Christians, there was, oh my Jesus Christ, God help us be better. You don't have to say anything. Do you know that? You don't always have to have an opinion. And if you do have an opinion, you don't always have to share it. You can keep it to yourself. You really can. You should learn it though. You should learn, like it's really important. You need to learn to bridle your tongue and to just keep quiet in a lot of situations. Some situations obviously require you to speak out, but there are some that are so unnecessary and you don't even need to stress yourself. No, we need to do better as a society. Like I said, there's a certain, it's a continuous decline in our morality and in our values, and the way we speak to people, strangers. We're very impolite, we're very brash, we're very harsh, we're very rude, and we call it, oh, I'm being blunt and honest. No, girl, no, boy, you're being rude and impolite. And it is mostly sad, because I know that a lot of our parents instilled in us values and actually taught us values, but we're not practicing it. We need to go back to practicing the values that our parents have instilled in us. I think it's really important. It's extremely important. I think at this point I will have to end this recording, because I feel like I've said so much. And I want you to give it time to really assimilate everything I've said. I feel like I said so much, but again, there's a moral decadence in our nation or in our society that really needs to be addressed. And I think that we don't talk about it enough, how people are very uncouth and very rude and just very impolite in general. And people think they have the audacity or the right to speak to you anyhow, talk to you anyhow. Is internet? I blame internet, because on a normal day, where would you see Vicky James or Marie to speak to them anyhow, or to say nasty things about them, or Etemila De Salami to talk to her anyhow? You don't see them now. It's internet that has created this false proximity and makes everybody think that, oh, I'm in proximity with you now, maybe I'm following you, so I can tell you what I think. It's very wrong. Flee from that. If it is rubbish, flee from it. And on that note, I have shared my thoughts for this week. Honestly, these things I've been thinking about, like, I have a book. If you're still here and you're still listening, something crazy just happened right now. I don't know if you noticed, but I think that you will. It will definitely show. As I was recording, My alarm went off, so it cut the episode, it cut the recording basically. And so I now have to record the finishing part of the episode. I don't like it because it feels like I now cut the gist. But anyway, I was almost done. I was concluding. I was saying that I had wanted to talk about this thing for so long, and I even have a section, well, not a book essentially, but a section in my phone, in my notes app, where I wrote out some of these things. When I'm thinking about something and I don't want to forget it, I write it out. A lot of times it also helps me to visualize my thoughts. I think you should try it. It's called journaling. See, I just explained, it's called journaling, so I think you should try it. Or maybe like if you have a diary or something. So I've been thinking about this thing, and it's not just even for these particular people, it's just in general on social media. People have done it to me before. I posted something, a blog carried it, and the responses were very uncouth. Insulted me, said hello. Somebody called me a liar. Somebody said I was dumb. It's just the thing that where you think that you can actually speak to people very rudely or speak to them in a very unpleasant manner just because you can, I think is wrong. I think it just needs to stop. There is something innately wrong with our society right now, and we're not addressing. There's a rot that has eaten deep into the minds of people. People are very unpleasant, they're very rude, they're projecting their emotions. I think that we have a lot of unhealed trauma and pain, so much so that people are unhappy with themselves, and so when they see you happy and thriving, they project how they feel onto you because they can't understand you. They can't wrap their head around why you're happy, why you're excited, why you're having a good life, and they are not. And so they project the bitterness or how they feel on their insides. They just project it on you and assume that you're the cause of their problem, and you're not. So I think that we really need to encourage therapy. I think that we need to encourage a lot of conversations or discussions that will help people unburden and really heal. A lot of people have a lot of childhood hurts, trauma, adulthood trauma, just pain in some form of way, and really projecting because the kind of responses people give, sometimes you wonder and be like, but you're educated, you're learned, why are you speaking like this? Can't you speak in a civil manner? Why do you read to attack and not understand? I see that more often. I think I've even put out a tweet about it, how people need to do a double take when they're reading just to understand and to remove themselves from that conversation and become like an observer, so that you don't feel like, oh, this person is attacking me, but rather this person is attacking something else, and so we're just trying to have a conversation about that something. I hope this makes sense, but I think that we need to address it. I think there's a problem somewhere that just needs to be fixed because it's very unbecoming, and it's getting worse. It's getting really worse. Like, there's something about the internet that gives some form of freedom that brings out the vilest things in people, and you just be amazed. And sometimes we take it as banter and we laugh it off, but no, it's actually wrong, and it just needs to stop. It really needs to stop. So that's where my headspace is. But aside from that, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling pretty good. Next week is my birthday, like I said, and I'm thinking of doing an episode where I talk about myself more. So that episode is literally just because of my birthday, my 27th year. So I really just maybe introspect, reflect, and talk about some of the experiences I've had, some of the things that have happened to me growing up and how I navigated them. Maybe address a little bit of grief because I've had my first share. Talk about when I was really ill. I think I may talk about that. I don't know yet. I'm just saying I would think about it because I don't like to share some parts of me. I think that is too painful or too sensitive to share. I don't know. I don't want to be that vulnerable people yet. And some parts of me I want to protect. So I may or may not share. I'm not sure. I will think about it. But I think I will talk about how I became an introvert because that's one thing I said I will talk about. I already shared. So I'm doing 27 things you didn't know. You may or may not know about me on Twitter. If you're not following me on Twitter, please follow me so you catch up on that. And I've shared some things so far. So that's something I shared, and I think that I may talk about. I used to be very extroverted as a child. I was very extroverted, very playful. I was very outgoing. I was not afraid though, or ashamed of anything. I would fight you tooth and nail. I stood up for myself. I disliked bullies. So if you were bullying somebody and I was there, I would beat you up. I once beat up a boy. I will reserve all this conversation for next week. But I once beat up a boy in primary school, in primary six. I beat him up because he was bullying my friend and I didn't like it. She couldn't defend herself, so I beat him. See, when I was younger, I was really outgoing. In secondary school too, I was. You couldn't bully me or talk to me rudely. I would put you in your place, but I know something happened. I feel like it's a series of events that just built up or led up to that place where I decided, you know what, I'm done. I'm not even talking to people anymore because I used to be very extroverted. Now I'm very introverted. I keep to myself a lot. I'm really antisocial. Kimak Baro. If I go to an event or a place, I'm going to keep to myself. I'm going to try to avoid people as much as I can. So I think I will talk about this particular one, but the other ones I'm not sure yet. I'll think about it. Thank you so much for listening and giving me your ears for this 20-something-ish minutes. I really hope that you don't detect that the episode actually broke in two, but if you do, that's okay. Please forgive me. It has never happened before. This is the first time. It's alarm that costs. And thank you. Have a wonderful week. Bye, y'all.